Hope you're all back. Thank you so much for joining in meditation, friends. Yeah. So today we are going to conclude chapter 11. So before that, let us recollect the topics which we have discussed, and what SETH Master, the topics which were involved in this chapter: after death choices and the mechanics of reincarnation. So this is the heading of the topic, chapter, after death choices and the mechanics of reincarnation. So far in this chapter, we have discussed about reincarnation choices and one who choose to re-enter the cycle as teachers. And there are different probable systems where the soul chooses according to its learnings, emotional ties, conditions and exceptions according to the level of understanding. So what are the conditions to reincarnate, right? And there will be a resting period. It's called mid-plane. And self-examination will be self-examination. The soul will self-examine its past lives, permutations and combinations in reincarnation, and how higher masters, what's the higher master's role, guidance at different levels, and abilities and talents that the soul carries in its consciousness, though it reincarnate, and how a few talents were kept in dormant, and few they want to, these souls, they experiment to the extreme levels. Some they choose to experiment at extreme levels, and how the master's role in planning and purpose of reincarnation, what happens with the individuals who has ended by committing suicides, and what happens to that souls, how these souls will be treated, and how the emotional baggages will be cleared, healed, and journey, what is the journey in between two lives. So two lives, what happens after death, means what's the journey of the soul, what it learns, tries to learn, even it learns at the higher at the soul level in the trillium as well. And very importantly, how belief system works, and how we carry this belief system even after life, and the same belief system, and how these masters, they try to bring awareness to the souls who are stuck here, who believe that they didn't end their life, so still they are in life, and how some masters, they act like mediums to pass this message. And this message they pass, it's when it is very, very important. And some souls, how they they connect with the relatives here, how they connect with the living individuals, and they pass the knowledge of whatever they have learned in that higher realm. So they will pass this information, and some, how they again choose to come into that cycle, into that the same into the same family, but it's unless it's very important. So how these how these choices were, and a lot, yeah. So this is what so far we have discussed in this chapter, and yeah, there will be other few topics which we have discussed, but today, so in a precise way. So today, okay, we have completed all our reincarnation cycles. We have completed the reincarnation cycle. Then what next? Right? What next? So Seth Master says the time of choosing is somewhat more complicated in the last reincarnational cycle. In your terms is completed. So in our terms, if reincarnation cycle is completed, it's like somewhat more complicated to choose. Okay. So as of now, we do not realize our true identity. As of now, as we are in this body, until we are in this body, so we do not realize our true identity. We identify it with our ego self. Seth Master says that we identify with our ego self. So what's ego here? It's not something which we dominate. It's not about domination, about the any complexes. Here, ego refers to the known self. The known self, that means it refers to the current sense of our current senses of ourself, the identity which associates with our present life, including our thoughts, memories, personality, and belief and beliefs. So we identify ourselves with all these. So this is called the ego self. So when we think in terms of life after death, we really mean the future life of our ego self. We don't come out of that box. Generally we think from whatever we know. So whatever we know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing happens, when we think about future. It's just like thinking about future, right? So when we are alive, when we are thinking about our future, the base of the future will be from the either from the past or from the present. So we don't come out of the box. In general, if a soul plans, it will come out of the box, not from the present situation. So we generally, when we think about life, when we think about the next birth, how the next birth will be, we choose from our belief system, so from our thoughts. That's the reason many, even whom I came across few, they were due to the challenges whatever they are facing now, facing in the present life. So when this topic comes, so they simply say, I don't want to reincarnate again. I don't want to take birth. It's the soul who chooses it. It's not from it not it will now these words come from our mind, because depending on the present situation, depending on the present life challenges. So at the end of reincarnational cycle, so we have to come out of the box. That means we still, if we speak, uh, if we identify, if we define ourselves from these terms, so then we are still in that. So behind that layer of ignorance, that we are not known completely. We don't know about ourselves completely. At the end of reincarnational cycles, we will get to know the inner core of our being. See, after the completion of when we complete our reincarnational cycle, we will know the inner core of our being is more than the sum of the reincarnational personalities. So we hear all the reincarnational, whatever the reincarnational selves, whatever the reincarnations lives we have taken. So the complete sum of the reincarnational personalities, then we will know that, okay, this is, I am something more than this. These characters, I am something more. So we will understand that these personalities are the divisions of our own self, which play different roles simultaneously. So these reincarnations will continue to develop, and they also understand that their main identity is us. And these, whatever the roles we have played, they will, even that self will start to understand that I am that. I'm not this. I'm not this character. Okay, when we complete these cycles, so that is what we understand, understanding levels after all the completion of reincarnational cycles. So the soul will realize its potential, realize itself, and it won't define itself to some character, to some identity. So we can't define that identity. Now we have known And here, the hidden thing here, the hidden what the message is, that means all the reincarnations, whatever we take, all this reincarnational cycle denotes, it's to know about ourselves. So these lives we are taking as a purpose, and what is that purpose? To know about ourselves, to know the we are that, we are not this. And when we complete all these cycles, okay, we have completed all these cycles now. Now we understood about ourselves, the complete self. Okay, when we understand this, so we will have the complete knowledge of our past lives, a complete knowledge on our fingertips about our experiences, about our abilities, about our potentials. So we will get to know everything about ourselves. Now, this denotes that we understand about our multi-dimensional realities, not only a single birth, not only we can't define ourselves to only this reincarnational self, but we know that we are multi-dimensional. We are multi-dimensional beings. We will understand, we will come to know through all these reincarnational cycles. This is the understanding. Now, we have done everything. Now it's time for choosing. For choosing what? And what these souls they do after reincarnational cycles. Again, the choosing comes. Not they won't re-enter into the cycles. Yes, if it is necessary, it's again their choice, and they re-enter not as they re-enter as a teachers, right? We have discussed this earlier. Now, here, these souls, they don't reincarnate in any other probable systems, but they choose a profession. They choose some occupation. So they need to choose some job. So what these souls, they choose some entities, they choose they choose teaching as their profession. And here they don't come, they don't take that life, they don't take the physical life, but at that realm, at that low, at that dimension, they choose teaching as a profession. Now here we came across, right? So some souls, when when they're planning to reincarnate, when the planning is going on, these masters, higher masters, they help them. And these are like teachers, right? Now here, these teachers, we take the role, we means these individuals, these entities, they take the role of the teacher. So Seth Master says that there is always the opportunity to teach if we are interested to. If we are interested in teaching, we take that role, and there is always an opportunity there. We have to note that the method is not similar to us here. Here we do have teachers, right? And now we can't compare the teaching here to the higher realms. The teaching is completely different. Now, what's the teaching method is, right? Multi-dimensional teaching. What is this multi-dimensional teaching? So such a teacher must be able to instruct various portions of one entity in our time at the same time. So at the same time, this teacher will able to instruct various portions of the entity. That means according to the time. For example, if a particular entity, this example was given by Seth Master. So for example, if a particular entity has reincarnations in the 14th century or 3 BC, in the year 260 AD, and in the time of Atlantis. So a teacher would simultaneously be in contact with these various personalities. So one in the 14th century, the 3 BC, 260 AD. So this teacher has to contact these personalities. So simultaneously, and communicating with them in terms that they would understand. So Such a knowledge demands a complete knowledge of root assumptions of that era. So we do have certain assumptions here in 3D dimension, in 3 here, like time and space or assumptions. In the same way, in other systems as well, and these assumptions, they vary from time to time. See, our thinking pattern, our or the belief system is not same as in the other stone age, as in the other middle age, we call like middle age, stone age. So they are, our thinking pattern is completely different. So these souls who who want to reincarnate in different systems, a complete knowledge of that system, a complete knowledge of that era has to be known by these teachers. So these teachers, they will help them when they try to reincarnate. They have to know this completely, and they will help. These are the assumptions there. So you have to take care of this, or you have to or these are the choices you have. So they need to have the complete knowledge. They for that they need to communicate, right? And these teachers, they will travel. They will these teachers will be exploring several probable systems. And do not think that only earth. We know this is not only the dimension. There are different dimensions, a different, you know, the stone age here, whatever we have experiencing will be happening in some other system, some other probable system. Yes. Yeah, I earlier I had this experience. There are few dimensions which are learning from the lessons which are learning from the earth. Whatever the shift is happening here, they are learning by observing earth shift, how these individuals are, how these individuals know how we are working, and how we are helping in mother earth shift. So there are some other which are there are some others we like the starting era of the earth. So there are some systems, so they are learning from here. So few are much advanced systems, few dimensions, they are much advanced than us, and few are not, they are not very much advanced. They are still in the growing state. They're still in that growing state. Like the era, the stone age, still there are few dimensions which they are in that stone age period. So for that, these souls who incarnate in different probable systems, the teacher has to have the complete knowledge of all the dimensions, of all the eras here, and for all the thoughts of all, especially the assumptions of the dimension, assumptions of that particular period, and also the probable system. Now, the amount of knowledge and training necessary makes such a teaching communicator career. So they communicate, extremely demanding. And Seth Master says this profession is extremely demanding there, right? Here, just like here, some professions are demanding. So here, there also they are just demanding, but it's one of the courses available there. So there's one of the there are so few courses that we have to choose after reincarnational cycle. Then learning is everywhere, and learning is continuous, right? And they will be given training. So these teachers, they will be given training, and the amount of information and knowledge they receive in training adds the development and abilities of the teacher, of course, right? So they have to constant travel through different dimensions. That here some professions we travel, so continuously we travel from one place to another in that profession. So here the teacher has to travel to different dimensions. So once the choice is made, training immediately begins, always under the leadership of a practical expert. So they are experts, and these teachers will be trained under the practical experts. So some entities, they choose their journey towards the vocation of a creators. Now these are teachers. Some they choose. So these they will be given. So these are the courses available here. Now these some entities they choose teaching, and not everyone they choose teaching, right? And what about the others? These entities they choose of a creators, they choose as a creators. And what are the creators here? What they do here, here we create with paints, right? Paints, pigments, and creation with music, with words, the musical notes. Like we create, the creation here happens in different ways. So but these creators, what they do, these creators, who they choose the creation, they choose space and time as tools. Space and time. As we choose colors and pigments here, pigments and paints here to create, okay, these creators, the souls which has completed the reincarnation, who choose the creation, they choose space and time as tools, just as we choose pigments, paints, pigments. So they begin to experiment with dimension of actuality, imparting knowledge in many forms as possible, but not in physical form. So they begin to experiment with the dimensions of actuality. How? So they will create the beauties of various ages. Isn't it interesting? So whatever they see in other dimensions, okay, they use space and time. So how the time, uh, it's in a simple words, you go, how can we understand this? When a drama or any setting, right, in films, in movies, if it's a historic movie of that particular period, so the art director, what he creates, that era, he creates he creates the background which is similar to that era, which is similar to that period, right? And in the same way, these creators, what they do, whatever the dimension, whatever the time period, a particular time period which is very beautiful, which connects to them, they recreate. And not physical way, there's not in a physical way, but use the space. And the space is unlimited that they create, that they have, they just have to create, and they just have to use the space. There's so much of space is left. So that's what Seth Master says. The painting and buildings are all recreated as learning methods of these beginners. These are like learning methods. So one of their main preoccupations is to create beauty that impacts itself in as many various dimensions of reality as possible. And here we consider it as a, here Seth Master says, they consider it as a multi-dimensional art. Those art are called multi-dimensional art, and it would appear in many realities. Right? And Seth Master also says that such art is difficult to describe. These creators inspire us here. How? We get inspiration through that art. How? So these arts, so are the forms of our often symbolic representation of the nature of reality, and they will be interpreted according to the perception. So whoever sees the art. So when we go to the art gallery, some arts we see, some arts we try to describe, right? And how we describe according to our perception. We think like it's a modern art. We try to describe, but some art we can't describe. So multidimensional art we can't describe in words. We will experience. We had these experiences. Some like few masters, And here how we get inspiration through that art which is not in this dimension. Astral travels. Through astral travels, few masters, so few of us who as this astral travels, they will come across in other realities this art which is not physical. We see, and the same thing we try to put here, right? Like mandalas or some other beauty, some other see, we see some pictures, anything, they create anything. Not only the art is not only any like painting, so not only that mandala art, but Seth Master said, the Christ era has been recreated there, the Christ period there. So that is what we generally sometimes through astral travels, and also through dreams. In dreams also, we go into that era which is not real. We go into that period which is not at all, sometimes it's not real, right? So those creations are created by the creators who are under training. So interesting matter is, if we can perceive these creations during sleep time, during astral travels, and semi sleep and wakeful state, a state which is in a sleep and also wakeful, the between sleep and wakeful state. And we sometimes we will get charged we will get to know about this art, we will come across this art. So Seth Master says there are various kinds of multidimensional art, and therefore many levels in which creators work. The whole Christ story was such a creation, he says. And this is about creators. We know about teachers, creators, and now what's the next course? Next course is, some they choose to be healers. Healers. And this course and these courses is far more than healing what we are familiar with. So whatever we know, it's not about the healing in our terms. The healing is different. So these healers must be able to work with all levels of the entity's experiences. Isn't right here? Uh, they need to know about whatever the entity is gone through, all the experiences, in order to heal. So directly helping those, they help directly to those personalities that are part with a great diversification. A healer begins with reincarnational cells with various difficulties, right? Healing is involved with how the healing will be done. Healing will be involved with psychic and spiritual. It's not something different. They need to understand about the emotions they have gone through. And through spirituality, they don't just heal with the magic. They don't have any magic. These healers, they try to make them understand this in this the souls who have committed suicide there, then we will come across these healers, about these healers. They will try to make them spiritually. So these healers are available to help us here and also here. Also, not only they don't define, or they don't confine their work only to that realm. They will help for the for the uh, for the people who are still in the life, so just like us. So advanced healers need great training, and they deal with spiritual maladies in the sense who are in the inner struggle, emotional distress, and to a vast number of personalities. So they deal with so many emotions. So these advanced healers are those, and there are healers, and there are some advanced healers, just like advanced courses we do. So that's like they do advanced, there are advanced healers who combine, so their profession, who combine qualities of teacher, a creator, and also a healer. Those are called advanced healers. So they take some knowledge as a teacher. There's some knowledge from the teacher, the creator, they will get to know different aspects in order to heal. And others choose some lines of developments according to their characters. And there are many other courses, but according to the characteristics, according to the character that we want, according to the that soul entity, they choose other courses, right? So finally, Seth Master says that the development of consciousness takes place naturally. So this all, whatever the reincarnations and whatever, there is no hurry. At the same time, we should not delay. So consciousness is continuous. Consciousness is working continuously here. There is one thing is, there is no force, right? All of the further development is inherent in us. Seth Master says that all, whatever the development, the upcoming development is inherent in us. How? Just like um, adult in a child, the adult in a child. So this child has that potential. This child will grow in future, right? In different ways, and physically and also mentally, and it is stored in the child, right? So it is inherent. So at the same way, we have that development. The further development is inherent in us, right? So this is the end of the chapter about wow. Is the end of this chapter 11, reincarnation and techniques, whatever the methods we have involved, after death choices and the mechanics of transition. And next chapter is very interesting chapter about reincarnational relationships. It's very interesting, right? So thank you so much. If at all you want to share anything, you can unmute yourself. Right. Ram sir.
Thanks a lot, Sharadaji. Very beautiful wisdom on what happens after leaving the physical body. It's quite coincidental as we listen to the sharings from Master Shailaja as well. So, as below, so above. What we are today instantly do not change tomorrow. So it's the same thing in the journey of the soul. And that is why it is very, very important that we don't experience this by chance, but rather we experience what happens after leaving the body by an understanding while we are in the body. And that is what happens by connecting to the wisdom of Seth Master, wisdom of Bhavna Giri's book, all these, sharings. And it is innate within us. All this knowing is innate within us. And now the more we live through the understanding of the mind, the more we move away from that, because we will not be different than what we are today when we leave the body. So getting away from all these belief patterns that are created since we are born or from various lifetimes is very important that we do when we are in the physical body. And that is why constantly we are shared about what is on the other side, what are various possibilities. And so we can move away from our own created worlds in our own mind, because what we create in our mind is what we will experience even after. As we are experiencing now, we are experiencing our life as how our mind thinks the world is. And so the same thing happens when we leave the body. So it's very, very important that we understand these, and very interesting, all these, professions that are chosen, creation as a creator or as a healer, very beautiful. And we have so many opportunities on the other side. So we have to get ready our CVs well, which means we have to work now. So And as well, the thought that an adult is living in a young body is also very interesting. That changes a lot of perception, because we all are great adults, and we have to connect to that great adults, not looking through the mind that we have now. And that opens up door to embrace new things, not only with us, even with the people around us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, Shailaja.
Hi, Sarada. Thank you for the wisdom. I had one question. Like when you were reading, you told like in other dimensions, Stone Age or other like maybe medieval age or any other thing, it's been created. It will be going on parallelly. Does that mean like whatever it is going on Earth, like different ages, everything it will be going happening the same way? How to understand this?
Everything like it's whatever it's happening, it's like parallel dimensions, right? It's not like we have completed, but someone has started. It's like happening parallelly. Because I have experienced it. Some they are watching us, some they are getting trained the from the knowledge that we have acquired.
Okay.
Some they are not much advanced planets. They are some dimensions, they are not much advanced. They are still in that. Yeah.
It's like cross training.
No, that's these these eras are not created by these creators. It is different. But there are some systems, there are other dimensions, I say, those are not created. They are what is happening parallelly, parallel realities. So these creators, they create, but not in a physical form.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Shapagaru.
So as friends, so let's all meet in the next session about reincarnational relationships. Right. So thank you so much for joining. And let's meet in the next session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shatagar. Thanks, everyone.